We spend way too much money overseas, and that's where we ought to be. Years on fighting these battles, when I started speaking on the House floor against the war in Iraq, it was 1998. That was when the policy was being changed. That was 5 years before the actual war. This is something that has been going on for a long time. But the arguments were always met and implied indirectly and sometimes directly. Oh, if you're not for the war, and you're not for the spending, you're not for the troops, you're not pro-American, you're unpatriotic. But the question, if anybody puts that up to you, if you take this position and they tell you that, then ask them, why is it that the Ron Paul campaign gets twice as much money from the military people as all the rest of the candidates put together? A lot of things happen in Washington because they want to use a lot of fear. Fear with the people and fear even with the members of Congress. Oh, if you don't go in and start a war with Iraq and we're attacked, and they scare and intimidate, and too often the members of Congress who aren't thinking for themselves. The Constitution gave us the monetary clause. Only gold and silver could be money. You can't print paper money. So we ignore that. So we've done that for a long time. There's a clause in there that says that, going to war should be done very, very cautiously. It's a national issue. It's not a state issue. We should have a defense. We should be prepared to defend ourselves, but carefully and cautiously, and never with the one person, the president, making those decisions. It is so serious, the founders said, that it has to be done through the people, through their elected representatives in Congress, and that we only go to war with a declaration of war. I guarantee you we'd be fighting a lot less wars if we fought. Well, I did recognize in debates about the proper role for the president. The president is the commander-in-chief. And there are a few exceptions that are very important. That if we are attacked, or if there is an imminent attack, the president has the responsibility, obviously, to defend this country. That has nothing to do with the war in Korea, the war in Vietnam, the war in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan, the war in Pakistan, the war in Libya. All you have to do is listen to the debates. I mean, the other candidates are ready to go to war. When are we going to attack Iran? Iran can't make enough gasoline for themselves. They don't have a nuclear weapon. They're no more ready to attack us than Iraq was. Iraq had no nuclear weapons. They had no Al-Qaeda in there. They used to be our allies. We pumped up Saddam Hussein. And yet we went to war over that and had all these tragic losses and have essentially contributed to our bankruptcy. The big hump will be on military spending. No money out of national defense, because militarism is not equal to defense. Defense is different. All the great religions talk about the golden rule. They recognize that, for civilization to really proceed, that you treat people like you would like to be treated. You'd think if all the religions that have accepted that, we would be living with less peace, but I'd like to use the golden rule and apply the golden rule to our foreign policy. Why should we ever do anything to any other country that we would resent if any other country did it to us? Can you imagine, one thing it would do, can you imagine what it would be like if somebody started dropping drone missiles on us because they had one of their bad guys over here and they missed and killed innocent people? It happens to us and we say, we didn't kill anybody, that was collateral damage. But no, those are innocent people that died, and guess what? They have families, and guess what? They remember, and guess what? There's a lot of resentment. So here we have a policy in Pakistan, which is the most bizarre. So we stir up a lot of trouble in Iraq and Afghanistan, and there's a lot of resentment, and people hide and run. And the Taliban, basically the Taliban are people that just want, they're not like the Al-Qaeda. The Al-Qaeda is willing to come over here. But the Taliban just wants foreigners out of their land. So they get pushed around, so
and we have the technology. So we send the cruise missiles over there, the drones, and we go over, and we're able, on occasion, kill some. But then we kill a lot of innocent people. We as the people have accepted the idea that the individual now, the President of the United States, that we won't trust with taking care of our medical needs, we're going to allow him to pick and choose who can be on the target list for assassination. And we have now assassinated, our government has assassinated 3 people. And one was probably a pretty bad guy. Al-Awlaki probably was, but he was never charged with anything. He was never proven anything, but he preached things that weren't very, very nice. And but that isn't the excuse. But the next day or the next week, they said, well, another family member of his is probably guilty as well. So they went over and assassinated his 16-year-old son, along with his 17-year-old cousin, while they were out barbecuing in a yard. Now that makes no sense. That we have become a nation of torturers. I mean, picking up American citizens, and that is sad, but it's tragic, and we don't need it. That's not what we're all about. We're supposed to be a government of laws. We're supposed to set an example for the world. We're not supposed to intimidate people and lecture them and be in their face and being involved in violence.